Okay, we're in Wings to Adventure, and we're back at the Purple Whistle. And let's see here. I miss you guys very, very much. And I don't know everything that's going on, but I am sure proud of you guys. And regardless of when you see this, or read this, or hear this, could be tonight or tomorrow. It could be later. I want you to know I love you, and I'm extremely proud of you, just for being you. And I'm available at any time. And just don't forget to say your bedtime prayers. All right. Did you leave the cart while I was inside? No, sir, answered Tim, but a second later he caught his breath. That wasn't the truth. He had left the cart when he and Bigsy had gone to look at the stagecoach. Oh, Mr. Walker, I have to tell you, I did leave the cart, but only for a moment. The peddler whirled around. You did? He said angrily. A moment's long enough for someone to lift out a bag. Then he said coldly to Tim, Get to bed now. As Tim climbed on the cart, he wanted to cry. Oh, why couldn't he remember the first rule of a peddler's boy? I'm going to get this cord out of me. This is a charger cable. Next morning, they arose at the first break of light. Mr. Walker was grouchy and ill-humored. When Tim had wiped off the tinware, the peddler said, Follow the brook upstream to a place deep enough for a bath. You're as dusty as the tin was. Tim followed a path between the brook and some huge boulders. When he came to where the water covered his knees, he stopped and washed carefully. On the way back, Tim climbed one of the largest boulders. He saw below him the remains of an old stone quarry. Then yonder, as he peered over, he saw something else. Kneeling near a little mound of stones was Mr. Sharp. Whatever was he doing? He seemed to be picking up tiny brown stones and putting them into cloth bags. What a queer thing to do. Tim scrambled down and scooted for the cart, one hand clutching the whistle. Dashing up to the wagon, he said quickly, I just saw Mr. Sharp. He was picking up little stones and putting them— Enough, lad, interrupted Mr. Walker. I've too much else to think about. And he looked so angry that Tim didn't say another word. Before long, they saw the 3 church spires of Northtown. The road led right up to the large village green. From a tall pole flew the flag, its 13 white stars twinkling in the sunlight. Mr. Walker stopped the horse in a shady spot on the road that circled the green. Soon there were many customers. When noon came, Mr. Walker handed Tim some fruit. There won't be much business for a while, he said. I'll go see my friend about his boy to take your place. And hand me the money from the mug. I'll take it with me. When they were alone, Tim said sadly to Bigsy, This time he didn't say stay by the cart, but I'll never leave it again. Not even for half a minute. He leaned back unhappily against the seat and tried to munch on an apple. As he sat there, both eyes squeezed shut, he felt someone staring at him. Looking down, he saw Mr. Sharp, his tin trunk strapped to his back. The peddler's thin lips curled into a grin. He jerked his horse to move on, but as he did so, a man wearing a badge ran up, followed by a young woman. He caught the peddler's arm and demanded, Are you the one who sold this woman peppercorns, and half of them stones? The woman nodded. He is. Constable Pratt likely thought I wouldn't grind them till he was safe out of town. Tim stared wide-eyed. So that was what Mr. Sharp had been doing this morning, mixing small pebbles with the pepper berries. The peddler quickly explained, If there's stones in those bags, Josh Walker put them there. He owns this cart, and he's the one who sold me those peppercorns. Constable Pratt turned to Tim. Where is this Josh Walker? He asked. But Mr. Walker's honest, sir, protested Tim loyally. He didn't put the stones in, but I saw Mr. Sharp doing that this morning. You lie, snarled the peddler. He turned to the constable with a sneer. This scatterbrained boy is trying to protect his friend. Constable nodded. Tim looked about. Tim, looking about, saw that everyone believed Mr. Sharp. It was at this moment that Bigsy pounced. Ever since the angry talk started, the little dog had growled softly. Now he jumped straight down on Mr. Sharp. He hit the trunk, knocking Mr. Sharp over. As the peddler fell to the ground, something slid out of one of his high boots, a bulging gray bag with 2 blue letters on it. Tim gasped. Then he cried out, "Why, that's our money bag!" Mr. Sharp had snatched up the bag and dropped it into his boot. "A pack of lies!" he shouted furiously. Tim looked about helplessly. No one believed him. The officer sat down on a tree stump. "Give me those peppercorns," he ordered. "We'll wait here for Mr. Walker." Mr. Sharp hastily handed over the bag, saying, "I know where he's visiting. I'll fetch him." At the constable's nod, Mr. Sharp quickly mounted his horse. He kicked the animal, who started hurriedly along the road around the green. Tim stared after him. Why, that wasn't the way Mr. Walker had gone. And at the other side of the common was the main road out of town. Once there, Mr. Sharp could hide the money bag in some bushes. Then they'd never get it back. All right, that's where we'll stop for tonight. I love you guys, and I'm very proud of y'all. I just want you to know that. I'm Daddy. Sweet dreams.